pray for him. I want to read this. This came from Mom just a second ago. And she said that when Brian was singing, she put the phone up to his ear, and she said that tears were rolling down his face. He heard the music, and he hears what we say. As Dad said, I want to echo, and I'll turn it back to him in a second. As a family, our lives have been devoted to the work of God, and we need all of you to join us to pray and to seek God on our behalf, because as Dad said just a second ago, we serve a big God, and we believe that God is able to do a miracle here tonight, and that's what we're asking for right now.
Welcome back, faithful viewers. Stay tuned as we dive into this powerful masterpiece.
Sun Life Broadcasting Network, an update. You know, we are a very private family. We've always been very private. We keep our troubles to ourselves. We don't bring other people into it. We've always braved the storms as a family internally. But this is beyond that. And I will be very open and transparent in the days to come, so that everybody will know exactly what is going on. This morning at a little after 8, Gabe and I rushed into Mother's house. His dad had gone into cardiac arrest. He never regained consciousness. We both took turns giving him chest compressions until EMT could get there, and I've never seen so many people arrive at one time, and I want to thank them. But they were able to get a heartbeat back. Right now, he is in ICU, and without a miracle, his time will be short. But we believe God. We're not giving up. We've already told the doctors we don't want to hear anything from them. We will make decisions in our own time, but we're going to give the Lord an opportunity to work.
I just read the full update on Jimmy Swaggart, and to be honest, I had to take a deep breath after. It's one of those moments that make you stop and reflect. Whether you grew up watching him on TV, listening to his preaching, or singing, or just heard the name in passing, this is big. The man is 90 years old, has suffered cardiac arrest, and is now in the ICU fighting for his life. And according to his son Donnie, without a miracle, this might be the end of the road. I know people have mixed feelings about Brother Swaggart. Some honor him as a man of God who preached the gospel across the world, while others remember the scandals, the headlines, the downfalls.
I have sinned against you, my Lord. And I would ask that your precious blood would wash and cleanse every stain until it is in the seas of God's forgetfulness. Thank you. Thank you. And God bless you.
What I saw in that family's words and in the way they're clinging to faith, it's bigger than all that. It's about a son trying to keep hope alive. It's about a family who's asking the world to pray. And it's about a man now silent in a hospital bed whose story is still being written. Let's just pause on that. He heard the music. That moment when his family played gospel songs next to his hospital bed and saw tears roll down his face, it tells us something. It tells us that even in silence, even in weakness, something deep within can still respond to God's presence. That kind of moment isn't scripted. That's raw and real. It reminded me of this verse. Call to me, and I will answer you, and show you great and mighty things which you do not know. Jeremiah 33:3. Right now, the Swaggart family is calling out, and whether you believe in miracles or not, they're giving God space to do what only He can. They've told the doctors to pause. They want time, not just to hope, but to believe. And that kind of belief, that's faith in action. For many of us, Jimmy Swaggart was a household name. Back in the 70s and 80s, he was everywhere. TV, music, crusades, radio. His gospel music filled homes, and his voice filled churches. His ministry reached over 100 million people. That's not a small number, especially in the days before internet and smartphones. He helped shape the face of televangelism. He showed that faith could reach into living rooms and touch hearts across oceans. People found Jesus watching those broadcasts. Families were changed. Hope was restored. But yes, there was a fall, a very public one. In 1988, the world watched as his reputation crumbled. He stood before the cameras, broken and crying, confessing that he had sinned. And then, just a few years later, another scandal followed. The headlines were brutal. The church world shook. People were hurt. People were confused. And here's the truth. We don't ignore those failures. They happened. They were real. They disappointed many. But that's not the end of the story. Because you know what else is real? Redemption. The Bible doesn't hide the failures of men. David committed adultery and murder. Peter denied Jesus 3 times. Paul used to kill Christians before becoming one of the greatest apostles. And yet in all of that, God still used them. That's why this verse hits me so hard. Though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. Proverbs 24:16. Jimmy Swaggart fell, and it wasn't pretty, but he also got up again. He kept preaching, he kept singing, he kept believing. He didn't reclaim the same worldwide platform, but he never stopped the work. His church kept going. His broadcasts continued. His family stood by him. Many stayed loyal. And most importantly, God didn't throw him away. In today's world, we're quick to cancel people, quick to judge. But God isn't like that. God sees the full picture, the good, the bad, and the grace in between. He sees the honest heart that cries out in the dark, even when the world has already made up its mind. And that's why this moment matters. Because whether you see Jimmy Swaggart as a fallen preacher or a redeemed servant, right now he's just a man lying in a hospital bed with his family around him, waiting on God. This moment strips away the stage lights, the microphones, the scandals, and the applause. What's left is what we all face in the end: our humanness, our need for mercy, and the hope that God's not finished. The Swaggarts said it best: we serve a big God. And they're right. A God who can part seas. A God who heals the blind. A God who raises the dead. If God did it then, He can do it now. And if He chooses to bring Jimmy Swaggart home instead, He will do it with grace. To those who support him, this is your moment to lift him in prayer. To those who once walked away because of his failures, maybe this is a moment to remember that God's grace covers us too. We don't have to forget the past to believe for peace in the present. And to anyone who's reading this thinking, can God still use me after I've messed up? The answer is yes. Jimmy Swaggart's story is proof of that. Not because he was perfect, but because God is. We pray not just for a miracle, but for peace, for healing, and for the legacy of a man who gave his life, imperfectly but passionately, to the gospel. And whether he rises from that hospital bed or wakes up in glory, let his story remind us of this: grace still wins. Stay humble, stay hopeful, and never stop believing that God can still use you, even after the fall.